me write this first. There are several ways of finding the solutions to quadratic equations, which we know the first one is called the formula method. We have what is called the graphical method. We have what is called the completing the square method, called the complete square method. And we have what is called the factorization method. So for this video, we're going to focus on the factorization method. This is what I want to really work on for this particular content. But then, before I go into explaining what a quadratic equation is, trying to help you understand what it means for an algebraic equation to be quadratic, I want to first of all look at the other part, look at the factorization part of it. So we are going to look at factorization of quadratic expression. Factorization of quadratic expression. Then after that, it will give you a brief understanding to what a quadratic equation is and to what factorization is all about, before we can then start finding the roots or solutions to a quadratic equation. So let us jump right into it. So now we are going to look at factorization of quadratic expression. Factorization of quadratic expression. Now, the general form of a quadratic expression is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Because I've tried to explain the previous videos I've been making on algebraic expression in this particular playlist, I've explained what an algebraic expression is. Now, one way for you to be able to identify that an expression, a mathematical expression or an algebraic expression is quadratic is checking out for the highest power of the variable involved in that particular expression. Now, if you take a look at this standard form or this general form of a quadratic, this is a quadratic equation, there is an equality sign present. You will come to see that the highest power of the variable here, x, is 2. Now, let me get rid of this. Now, this is a quadratic expression. Let us look at, this is a quadratic equation. Let us say this x squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. For example, now, x, a, b, and c are constants, where a is not equal to 0. Okay, now, if you take a look at this quadratic equation, you will come to understand that x is the variable here. A, b, and c are just constants. Now, for me to be able to identify that this expression is quadratic, I look at the power, the highest power of the variable s, which is what? 2. And that is what makes this equation to be a quadratic equation. It becomes a quadratic expression if there's no symbol, there's no existence of this symbol, this equation symbol. That is, if we have x squared plus bx plus c, this is a quadratic expression. Why? This is a quadratic equation. So, for instance, if a is equal to 1 in this expression, we are going to have that will be x squared plus bx plus c. That is what we are going to have. And this becomes a simple trinomial. This is called a simple trinomial. A simple trinomial. Let me brief this explanation again. A quadratic expression is an algebraic expression that the highest power of the variable involved is 2. If it's more than 2 or less than 2, it is no longer a quadratic expression. That is what we are looking at. So let's jump right in to what we have. So let's look at some examples. The first example we are looking at says factorize the following. So we're going to be looking at a few questions. The first question first expression we're going to be looking at is x squared plus 6x plus 5. The second one we are going to look at is m squared plus 11m plus 18. We're also going to look at III. We're going to look at s squared minus x minus 72. Minus 72, and then we're going to look at 12 minus 7x plus x squared. Okay, we have 4 questions here. Okay, let me make it 5. I'd like us to also look at this. X squared minus 12x plus 32. As simple as that. So this is what we're going to look at. So we're going to factorize these 5 expressions we have here. So let's start with the first one. The first one is x squared plus 6x plus 5. X squared plus 6x plus 5. So let's factorize. Solution. Now, before I go ahead to factorize this question, I'm going to show us one thing we are going to do. We're going to look at this term here. Now, the standard form of a quadratic expression is ax squared plus bx plus what c. So this third term is called c. If I compare these two expressions, this is my c, this is my b, and this one here is my a. So from this expression, I see that what my a is equal to 1 if I compare this expression and this general form of a quadratic expression. That means there's an invisible one here, which is a is equal to 1. My b is equal to 6 and my c is equal to 5. So now, having identified my a, b, and c from the given expression, the next step I'm going to take is multiplying the third term c, that is c multiplied by a. So the next step is to multiply a multiplied by c, which is equal to 5 times 1 is equal to 5. So the first thing you do is to identify your a, your b, and your c. After getting it, all you have to do is to multiply your a by your c, and you're going to get 5. Now, what is the next thing? The next step is to look at to ask yourself, what are the common factors of 5? The common factors of 5 that when I add them together, it will give me b. It it will give me 6, which is this, the b here. And when I multiply them together, it will give me 5 back. This is what I mean. After multiplying a multiplied by c, I have what? 5. Now, what are the common factors of 5? That if I multiply them, it will give me 5. And if I add them, it will give me b, the value of b. Now, the factors of 5 is 1 and 5. Because if I multiply 1 by 5, it will give me 5. And then if I add 5 to 1, it will give me 6. And 6 here is b, is the value of b in this expression. So now we are looking at 1 and what? And 5. So now, having gotten 1 and 5, we are going to replace, in place of 6s, the second term, we are going to put in 1 and 5. That is, we are going to add x as, we are going to add s to it as a base. Now, what do I mean? In place of, we have x squared plus 6x plus 5. In place of 6x, we are going to put in, now this is 1 and 5, that is x and 5x. So in place of 6x, we are going to put in x and 5x. So we are going to have x squared plus x plus 5x, then plus the third term there, which is what? 5. So now, we are doing factorization by grouping. So we're going to group this. We're going to group this together. Now, what is common between x squared and x? X is common because x squared can divide x without a remainder, and x can divide x without a remainder. So we bring out 1x. So x is common between x squared and x. So if we get x out, if we divide x squared by this x, what will remain is x. If we divide x by x, what will remain is plus 1. We do the same thing here. What is common between 5x and 5? What is common? That if we divide 5x by that number, it will have no remainder. If we divide 5 by that number, we'll have no remainder. And that number is 5. So we have plus 5. So if we divide 5x by 5, we have x. We divide 5 by 5, we have plus 1. If you look closely to what I have here, you come to understand that the term in this bracket is the same thing as the term in this bracket. This shows you that what you're doing is correct. So if the term in this bracket is the same thing as the term in this bracket, you just pick one of it, which is x plus 1. You just pick one of it, which is what? X what? Plus 1. And then you take this x we have here, and then this 5 we have here, x plus 5. This is the answer. So if I factorize x squared plus 6s plus 5, I have x plus 1 bracket and x plus 5 what? Bracket. So this is I. Let's look at the next question for more understanding. So the next question is m squared plus 11m plus 18. M squared plus 11m plus 18. So let's solve that. Question number 2. M squared plus 11m plus 18. Solution. So we are asked to factorize this quadratic expression. Now, the first thing we do is to what? Identify our a, b, and c. And our a is, that is the coefficient of m squared, is 1. Our b is the coefficient of m, which is 11. And our c is the constant term, which is 18. The next term is to multiply a by c. So say a multiplied by c is equal to 1 multiplied by 18, which is equal to 18. So the next step is to look for the factors of 18. So what are the factors of 18? So we are looking at what? The factors of 18. that now, not just the factors of 18, the factors of 18 that when I multiply them together, it will give me 18, and when I add them together, it will give me 11. Yes, so what are those factors of 18? Now, the first factor of 18 is 2, and the second factor of 18 is 9. Why? Because if I say 2 times 9, it will give me 18, and if I do 2 plus 9, it will give me 11. And as you can see, 11 is the value of B, and 18 is giving us backwards AC, which is A times C. So you look for there are so many factors of 18. 1 is there, 9 is there, 2 is there, 3 is there, 6 is there. But your aim is to look for the one that when you multiply it together, it will give you 18. When you add it together, it will give you the value of what? B. So we have what? 2 and 9. So we just attach x to this, and we'll attach x to this. So this 2 term here, x and 9, we are going to replace it wherever we have what? A minor, wherever we have the second term, which is 11m. So let's do that. So that will give me m squared plus, in place of 11m, I put in what? Plus 2m. I'm very sorry, we are dealing with m, not x. We are dealing with m. So this is m, and this is m. So in place of that, in place of 11m, put in 2m and 9m. We are dealing with m, not x. I'm getting too used to x. I don't know why. I apologize. So that is 2m plus 11m plus, in place of 2m plus 9m, in place of 11m, we are putting 2m plus 9m plus what? 18. So we group this one, yes, and then we group this one. So if we do that, the next step is to take what is common in the first bracket. So what is common between m squared and 2m? That is a number that when each of them is divided by that number, it gives us no remainder. So the only thing that's common there is m, because if m squared divided by m, no remainder, 2m will divide m and we'll still have no remainder. So m is common between the two. So we factor out m. This is the factorization process actually. We are factoring out m there. So when we get m there, if m squared divided by m, m will remain here, plus 2m will divide by m, what we'll get is 2 remaining. Yes, because this m squared divided by m will give me m, and 2m divided by m will give me 2. So plus, what is common between 9m and 18? So what is that number that can divide the both of them without no remainder? That is 9. So if 9 divide 9m, we have m. If 9m divide 9 rather, we have m. If 18 divide 9, we have what? We have 2. So as I told you before, one trick for you to identify that you're correct, what you're doing is actually correct. What you have in this bracket at this point will be the same thing as what you have in this bracket. So we have m plus 2 here, and we have m plus 2 there. So what we are doing is correct. So this is equal to, so we retain one of the m plus 2. We just retain one, that is n plus 2. Then bracket open, we take this outer m, then we take the value here plus 9. So that is the answer. Okay, let's go to the next question. This is very interesting. The next question is x squared minus x minus 72. X squared minus x minus 72. So let's go to that. So that is question number 3. So we are looking at what? X squared minus x minus 72. So solution. So let's do the same thing we have been doing previously. So the first thing to do is to identify our a, b, and c. So a is the coefficient of x squared, which is 1. A is 1 in this situation. B is the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x in this expression is minus 1. So b is equal to minus 1. C is the constant term. The constant term there is minus what? 72. So the next step is to multiply what? A by c, and that will give me 1 times minus 72, which is equal to minus what? 72. So what is the next step? The next step is looking for the common factors of minus 72, that if I add them together, it will give me the value of b. If I subtract them, if I multiply them, it will give me minus 72. And that number is 9. We are looking at 9 and 8. So that number is 9 and 8. Let me confirm if 9 multiplied by 8 is 72. Yeah, correct. So that number is what? 9 and 8. So we're looking for factors of minus 72. So we're going to put minus somewhere. One of them will take the minus sign, so that when you multiply it will give us a minus value. So the one that will take the minus sign, if I put the minus sign with 9, it will be minus 9 multiplied by 8 will give me minus 72. Minus 9 plus 8 will actually give me, yes, the b value we are looking for, which is minus 1. So the minus sign, this will take the minus sign. So all we have to do is to attach the variable we are working with to it, which is x and x. So at the moment I'm going to replace minus x. I'm going to replace minus x with minus x plus x in that expression. So that is the next step. So let's do that. So the next is equal to s squared minus, in place of x minus x, I put in minus x plus 8x minus what? 72. So we group this and then we group this. So if I do that, the next thing I'm going to do is to take the common factors, factor out. So we're going to factor what is common between s squared and minus 9. X is common, so take x. This will leave us with x minus 9 plus. So what is common here between 8x and minus 72? That is 8. So we are left with x minus what? 72. X minus 9. X minus 9. My bad. X minus 9. Yeah, not 72. Okay, I got my pen back. So x minus 9. So as you can see, we have x minus 9, we have x minus 9. So we are correct. So we pick one of it, that is x minus 9. And then we say x plus 8, we pick that. So that is x plus 8. So this is our answer. Correct. So it is fun. So I think I have more questions to solve. Let's go back. So let's check the next question we have. Okay, I think this is misbehaving. I know the next question we have. So let's solve the next question. So the next question we have there should be, that is number 4, should be 12 minus 7x plus x squared. So that's the next question we have. Going back is becoming a problem, so let's do this. So the first thing we do is to rearrange this to look like the standard form, which is x squared plus bx plus c. So x squared needs to be first, so it's x squared first, then this is second minus 7x, and this is the constant plus 12. So the next thing for us to identify our a, this is our a, b, and c. So a is 1 in this situation, b is minus 7, and c is 12. So the next step for us is to multiply a by c. A multiplied by c will give me 1 times 12, which will give me 12. So the next step here is to look for the common factors of 12. So what are the common factors of 12 that when I multiply it will give me 12, when I add it will give me 7, and that is 4 and 3. Minus will be here, minus will be here, because minus 4 times minus 4 will give me 12. Minus 4 plus minus 3 will give me minus 7. So we're working with x, so attach x to it. So we just substitute these two numbers, these two 10 in place of minus 7x. So that will give me x squared minus 4x plus, okay, not plus at this moment, minus, so minus 3x plus 12. So this will give me, I group this guy. So what is common between x squared and minus 4x? That is x. So this will give me x minus 4. So what is common between minus 3 and 12? And that should be minus 3. So this will give me x minus 4. So this is equal to, this will give me x minus 4 and x minus 3. So that is the answer to that question. So I think we have one other question we haven't solved. Is there any other question? So that is it for this section. So let's look. Okay, we have done this, we haven't done this. So let's do x squared minus 12x plus 32. So let me do it here. So I have to clear this, and then let's do that. So let's factorize x squared minus 12x plus 32. Solution. This is becoming fun. So if I compare, our a is the coefficient of x squared, which is 1, our b is the coefficient of x, which is minus 12, our c is the constant term, which is 32. So the next step is to multiply a by c, and that will give me 1 multiplied by 32, which will give me 32. The next step is to look for the factors, the common factors of 32, that when I multiply them together, it will give me 32, and when I add them, it will give me the value of b. And we are looking at minus 4 and no, we are looking at minus 4, yes, and minus 8, or yeah, plus 8. Okay, minus 4. Okay, we are looking at plus 4 and minus 8, yes, because 4 multiplied by minus 8 will give me, okay, we're looking at, yes, this is minus. Okay, yes, we're looking at minus 4 and minus 8, because minus 4 times minus 8 will give me 32. Minus 4 plus minus 8 will give me minus 12. So I just have to attach the value we are working with, the variable we are working with, which is x and x. So when I come over here, in place of minus 12x, I'm going to put these two guys. So I'm going to have x squared minus 4x minus 8x plus 32. So I'll group this guy and I group these guys. So what is common between x squared minus 4x? So what is there is x is common, because it can be, both of them are divisible by x without any remainder. So we have x minus 4 here, because this will divide this to give me just x. This will go in to divide this to give me just minus 4. So that's the factorization process. So this is minus 8x plus 32. What is common? Minus 8 is actually common, because minus 8x can divide minus 8 to give me x, and 32 can divide minus 8 to give me minus 4. As you can see, what we have in this bracket is the same thing. That shows we are correct. So this is x minus 4 into x minus 8. So that is it. So that comes to the end of factorization of quadratic expressions. So let's go into something more fun. So I have to clear things. So let me clear one of these, and let's look at what we have next. So clear this. So what do we have? What are we talking about next? So what we just did now in the previous solutions, we are actually looking at expressions of this form: x squared plus bx plus c. If you look at all what we have been solving, you'll come to understand that all of them have a coefficient. The coefficient has always been 1, 1, 1, 1, That the coefficient of s squared has always been 1. This is coefficient of s squared is 1, coefficient of s squared is 1, coefficient of s squared here is 1, coefficient of s squared here is also 1. But the question that will come to your mind is, what if we have something of 2x squared minus 3x minus 1? How can we solve this? It's actually different from what we have been doing before. So in this case, it's very simple because it's actually the same process. It's actually the same process. So we're going to look at, for this section, we're going to look at factorization of quadratic expression. So this is factorization of quadratic expressions of the form. So we're looking at ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is the kind of expression I want to look at. So we're actually going to use the same process. It's actually the same process we have been doing before the same process we have been doing here, but this time around we have a particular number here that is not 1. So let's look at examples. So we're going to be solving few examples, maybe 3 or so, to create better understanding. So the first one we're going to look at is 2y squared plus 13y plus 21. So we're also going to look at another one, which is 4 plus 19x minus 21x squared. This is square before you think it's 7. So the next one we're going to look at here is 20x squared minus 40xy plus 15y squared. So that is what we're going to be looking at for this. That's these 3 questions. This will actually give us a good understanding of whatever we're looking at. So this is it. So let's dive into it. So let me just clear this guy. I don't have enough space. So let's clear this guy. So the first one is I, which is 2y squared. So they say we should factorize. We want to factorize. So this is y, 13y plus 21. So solution. So the same thing we have been doing before. That's what we're going to apply here. So the first thing we identify, if you compare this equation to the general form ax squared plus bx plus c. So if we compare this, we see that a is what? 2. So a, the coefficient of x squared, for here is y squared, replacing the variable. It's actually the same thing. And then the coefficient of y is b. So b is 13 and c is a constant term, which is 21 in this situation. So let's move on. So the next thing we do is to multiply a by c, which will give me 21. 2 multiplied by 21, that will give me 42. That is quite large. So let's look at the next thing we want to look at is what are the common factors of 42. So we have 42. So what are the common factors of 42 that if we multiply it together, it will give us 42 back? If we add it together, it will give us the value of b here, which is 13. So the factors of 32 that can do that, of 42 that can do that for us is, I think this is 7 and 6, because 7 times 6 is 42, while 7 plus 6 is the value of b. So what all we do is to attach the value, the variable we are working with, which is y and y. So 7y, 6y will replace, in place of 13, y we substitute 7y plus 6y. So having done that, so let's look at it. So if we look at that, we are going to see why are you disturbing. So we're going to have 2y squared plus, in place of 13y, I'm going to have 6y plus 7y plus 21. So the next step, I group this, they are brothers, they are families, they are friends. So I group this guy and this guy, I grouped it. So the next thing, I choose what is common. So this is 2y squared plus 6y. So what is common between 2y squared plus 6y? Let me explain this a bit. Some persons won't really get that. So let me explain it a bit. So this is 2y squared plus 6y. So I want to factorize it. So what is common? So the first question you ask yourself is what is common? That is, what is common means what particular number or term or identity that 2y squared can divide by without any remainder, and 6y also divide by without any remainder. If you look at this expression, you see that 2y squared can divide 2 without a remainder, 6y can divide 2 without a remainder, and something else too, so y2 can also go. So 2y squared can divide y without a remainder, and then 6x can also divide y without a remainder. So we can factor out that. We say we are factoring out x for that case. So if we do that, we are factoring out 2y. So 2y is factored out because it's common. So if we take 2y squared, that is, if 2y squared divide by 2y, we'll be left with y. The same thing happens here. We'll be left with y will go, okay, we have 6y divided by 2y. We're going to have 3. So this will give me 3. So this is 7y plus 21. What is common? You can see that 7 is common. That is the only thing that's common. We factor it out. So we have y plus 21 divided by 7 will give me 3. As you can see, this is y plus 3, this is y plus 3. So it's the same. So we actually there will pick one. So it's y plus 3 into 2y plus 7. This is 2y plus 7. So this is the answer to that question. Very interesting. So let's look at the next one. Yes, the next one is 4 plus 19y minus 21. So let's go down. I'm going to clear this. I'm just going to clear this. I don't have enough space. So that is 2. So we're looking at factorize 4 plus 19x minus 21x squared. So that equation is in the reverse form. So we have to change it. So we have to reverse it. So the x squared need to be first. So we have minus 21x squared. So this will now be plus 19. I'm just interchanging. I'm just reversing this equation so that it will look like x squared plus bx plus c. So this is minus 21x plus 19x plus 4. I don't like this minus here. I don't like this minus that is here. So for me to get rid of this minus, I can just multiply all through by minus 1. So multiply all through by minus 1. So if I do that, I'm going to have minus 1 multiplied by minus 21x squared will give me 21x squared. Minus 1 multiplied by minus 19x will give me minus 19x. Minus 1 multiplied by minus plus 4 will give me minus 4. So that is now awesome. So we can now pick our A, B, C. So A is equal to 21, B is the coefficient of x, which is minus 19, and C is the constant term, which is minus 4. So the next step for us is to multiply A by C. So that is A multiplied by C. That will give me 21. Okay, no, minus 4 multiplied. That is, okay, no, 21. A is 21. So let me clean that. Clean this off. So that is what? 21 multiplied by minus 4. That will give me minus 84. Wow, quite a large value. So let's look at minus 84. Let's look for the common term. That is the common factors. So that is minus 84. What is common? What are the common factors of minus 84 that when I multiply it together, it will give me minus 84 back? If I add it together, it will give me the value of C, which is minus 19. So that value should be, I think, yes, it should be minus 7 and minus 12, because it can actually divide minus 84 by, it can divide minus 84 without a remainder. That's what we mean by common factors. So you can actually go and make a revision on common factors. I think I'm going to make a video on that, how to find common factors of numbers. I'm going to make a video on that. I promise you I'm going to make a video. That's why you need to subscribe to this channel so that you can be getting videos every time. So that is the common factors. So you can see if I do minus 7 multiplied by minus 12, it will give me minus 84. If I add it, that is minus 7 plus minus 12, it will give me minus 19. So all we have to do is to attach the variable x to it. So in place of minus 19x, I'm going to put these two guys. that is minus 7x and minus 12x. So let's do that and see how beautiful it's going to come up. So this is 21x squared. In place of minus 19x, I'm going to put minus 7x minus 12x, which is what we got here. This is x, and this is minus what? 4. So the next step is to group. These are brothers, siblings. They are siblings. You can see they are siblings. They look alike. So I'm just grouping them. So let's move on. So the next thing is to look for what is common. What is common? What is common? So what is common? So what is common between 21x squared and minus 7x? What is common there is 7x. 7x is obvious. 7x is common. So 7x, 21x squared divided by 7x will give me 3x. Yes, and minus 7x divided by 7 will give me minus 1. So what is common between minus 12x and minus 4? Yes, we can see is minus 4 is actually obvious because it can divide this. It can be divided by these two numbers without any remainder. So if we do minus 12x divided by minus 4, we are going to have 3x. The same thing happens here. We are going to have minus 1. So this will give us, we pick one, we say minus, we have 3x minus 1, we have 3x minus 1 here. It's 9, so we pick one of it. So that is 3x minus 1. And then here too we have what? That we pick this number 7x here, 7x, and then we pick this one, which is what? Minus what? 4. So this is our answer. This is our answer. 3x minus 1, 7x minus 4. Do we have any other question? Okay, we have this one. This one look bobo. This one look bobo. It looks big. This looks big for us. So for us to solve this, we're going to do one thing. We're going to do one thing. So let's do this together. So let's do it together. We are all in this. So we don't need to be afraid. So let's do this together. So what we have there is 20. Yes, that is. I think that should be question number 3 or so. Yes. So there we have 20x squared minus 40xy plus 15. So let's do this together. Solution. This is going to take a lot of space. So okay, we're going to do it together. So pay close attention. As you can see, this does not look like ax squared plus bx plus c. We are having two variables here. We are having x and y. We are having y squared. We are having x squared. So it does not look like this. But we are going to picture this in form of this. We are going to picture this expression in form of this expression. Yes, that's what we are going to do. Do you know why? We are going to see this y. This y we have here, we are going to see it as a constant. We are going to treat it as a constant. This y square we also have here, we are going to treat it as a constant. So we're going to see it as a constant, and then this x and x squared will just be our variables. So let's do something. So we have 20x squared minus 40xy plus 15y squared. So what I want, these numbers are too big. I want to reduce them. So I'm going to factor out a number. I'm going to pick a number that can divide all of them without a remainder. And that number obviously is 5. So I'm going to say 5 out. So if 20x squared divide 5, I'm going to have 4x squared. If minus 40xy divide 5, I'm going to have minus 8xy. If 15y squared divide 5, I'm going to have plus what? 3y squared. So that is it. So now we have something smaller. We have something smaller. So let's treat this. Let's do this now. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to pick our A, B, and C. Yes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to pick our A, B, and C. So A here is equal to 4. We are looking at this enormous expression in the brackets. So A is equals to 4. B is equals to minus 8y. Yes, I said that before we started solving. I said we're actually going to treat this y as a constant. So this is actually minus 8xy. So I told you rules of I have a video where I treated rules of algebra. Minus 8sy is the same thing as minus yx, commutativity. This is called commutativity. So now we are picking, if they ask me here, if they ask you what is the coefficient of x, this and this are the same. What is the coefficient of x? Coefficient of x is this, is minus 8y. The coefficient of s is what? Minus 8 what? Y. That is the number or the constant leading x. So that is what? Minus 8y. So we are picking y as a constant. So what is our constant term? Our constant term is 3y squared. I told you anything that is outside x is a constant in this situation. So that's what we are doing. That's why. So the next step is what? A multiplied by c. That is what we are doing. Multiply a by c, and that will give me 4 multiplied by 3y squared. 4 multiplied by 3y squared will give me 12y squared. So the next thing we are doing is we are going to look up. We're going to look up what are the common factors of 12y squared. When I multiply it together, it will give me 12y squared. When I add it, it will give me the value of b. I want to change this pen to black, to red. So let us look at the factors. So what are the factors of 12y squared? That when I multiply it, it will give me 12y squared. When I add it, it will give me the value of b, which is minus 8y here. So that factor should be, we are doing this together, we are looking at 6 and 2. Yes, because 6 is a common factor, 2 is a common factor. Now I want it to give me minus 8. So if I attach minus here, minus 6 multiplied by 2 will give me 12, right? But if I add this, it cannot give me minus 8. So I need to attach another 2 here. So this will work. This is minus 6, attach y to it, attach y to it. So what I'm going to do is, in place of minus 8xy, I'm going to put these two guys. So let me change my marker back to white. So we do that now. So let's do that. So now I'm going back to this guy. I'm going back to this guy. So we have 5 into 4x square minus, in place of minus 8xy, I put in what? Minus 6y minus what? 2y. So I bring in this guy, which is plus 3y square. So that is it. So the next step, we want to group this. Now I have this thought of grouping these two, but I want to interswitch. I want to take minus 2y to this place and then take minus 6y to this place, so that I can actually factorize easily. So this will give me this 5 into xy squared minus 2y is actually the same thing, minus 6y plus what? 3y squared. Okay, so we can now group. So I'm going to group this guy, I'm going to group this guy, I'm going to group this guy, and I'm going to group this guy. So I'm going to look at for what is common. So let me clean up, let me create space. I don't want to go to the next. So let me create space for us. So let's do this together. Okay, we have somewhere to write on now. So this is what we have. So all I'm going to do, okay, we have 5 into, so in place of 4, this is 4x squared minus 2y. Yes, so what is common? What is common there? Okay, as you can see, we're going to attach x and y to these guys. So let's attach x and y. We're going to attach x and y to that. So let's attach, we're not just going to write this. I'm going to attach x and y. I'm doing this together. I did not solve this before coming. So let's attach x and y to it. So we're going to have minus 2xy and minus 6xy. So I'm going to attach x, I'm going to attach x, I'm going to attach x. So that's it. So just attach x to it so that I can actually factorize now. Easy. So if I factorize, so this is 4x squared minus 2xy. What is common there? 2x is common. So 2x into 2x minus y. Then what is common between minus 6sy and plus 3y? So what is common there is plus 3y. So plus 3y, if I take it into divide each of these guys by 3y, I'm going to have, this is minus, okay, this is minus 3y, this is minus is there, that is the common term we have. So we have minus there, minus 3y. Minus 3y is actually common. Yes, minus 3y. So this will give me 2x plus, this will give me minus y. Minus what? Y. So take that as minus. Minus. So we are taking that as minus. So I close this. So let's continue. So now we can factorize. So this is 5 into, I pick this and this are the same. So I pick this is 2x minus y. I just hope I haven't made any mistake. 2x minus y. And then this is 2x minus 3y. Okay, you are correct. Yes, because we have 2xy here and we have 2xy here. So this is absolutely correct. So whenever you have the same values in these brackets, you know you're there. So this is absolutely correct. So this can go into each of those brackets. This is actually correct. I can leave my answer like this. This can be my answer, or I can take this y into this 5 into each of those terms. So to cram it all, this is y into 2x minus y into 2x minus what? 3y. So that's it. So that's the answer to that particular question. So let's do one more to create, so that we can see how this kind of question actually looks. So let me just do one more question for us. So let's do one more question. So let's solve this one and see how beautiful it's going to be. So let's look at, let me call it number 4. So to create a good understanding of this kind of question, I want to solve another question that looks like that. I'm going to solve 2. So this is 15u squared plus 25uv minus 10v squared. So this is 1. I'm going to solve this 2. 8a square minus 6ab plus b square. I just want to create good understanding of what we have been doing. So let's take the first one. So the first one is so let us factorize it. So this is 15u square plus 25uv minus 10v square. So let's solve this solution. So let's solve this. So we have this term. It's actually nice there and beautiful. So this is 15u square plus 25uv minus 10v square. So the first thing I want to do, I want to bring down the coefficients are too much. I want to bring, that is, reduce this to its lowest term. So I'm going to factor out what is common. I'm going to factor out 5. So 5 divided by 15 will give me 15 divided by 5 will give me 3u square plus 25 divided by 5 will give me 5uv 10v square. This will give me minus what? This will give me minus 2v squared. So that is wonderful. So what is the next thing we are going to do here? So the next thing we are going to do here is we're going to look at for the common term. So we're going to look at for the common term. So what is common? And look at how we can actually factorize this particular equation. So we say our a inside of this, our a is what? Our a is 3, our b is 5 uv. Okay, no. Our b is 5v. It's 5b v. That is v b 5v. So 5v, because we are treating u as a constant. So this is 5v, and then our c is minus 2v squared. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply a by c. That will give me 3 multiplied by minus 2v squared, and this will give me minus 6v squared. So the next step is choosing the common factor. So minus 2v squared. So this is, we are going to multiply that. So this is actually 3. This is actually 2v squared. So I'm going to be looking at the factors of 6, that if I multiply together, it will give me 6. And if I add together, it will give me 5. So we're going to be looking at 6 and 1. So what are the factors of 6 and 1? So it's 6 and minus 1. So because 6 times minus 1 will give me 6. 6 minus 6 plus minus 1 will give me 5v. So if I do that, 6 plus minus 1 will give me 5. So we just attach values to it. So we're looking at 6v and v. So 6v and v. So I just say we're looking at 6uv and what? uv. Why did I say such? So because we're looking at u and v, we are looking at 2 variables here, and we are treating one of them as a constant. So instead of saying replacing 5uv by 6v and v, we are going to replace 5uv by 6uv and uv. So take note of that. So let's do that. So we're going to have 5 into 3u squared minus 6. In place of 5uv, I put minus uv minus uv minus 2v squared close. So this is equal to, we group this, this becoming awesome. So this is 5 into, what is common between 3u squared minus 6uv? What is common? 3u is common. So 3u into, so if I factorize that, if I divide 3, I factor out 3u. So 3u squared divided by 3u will give me u minus 6uv divided by 3u will give me minus 2v. So that is for that. So what is common between minus uv and minus 2v squared? What is common there is v. So minus v is common. You can see v is here and v is also here. So if I factorize, I'm going to have u plus what? 2v bracket close. So what is our answer? Our answer is gonna be 5 into, so you can see what we have. This is minus, this minus, this plus, this actually a plus, this actually a plus. Yes, we are looking at plus uv, not minus uv, plus uv. So this plus, so they give me u plus 2v bracket and then 3u minus v bracket close. So that is our answer. So our answer for that question is 5 into what? U plus 2v and then 3u minus v. You can as well stop the video and then check it out. So that's our answer for that question. So let's look at the next one. To the next one, pay close attention. So the next one is 8a squared minus 6ab plus what? B squared. So we want to factorize So the idea is we are treating b as a constant. So we have 8a square minus 6ab plus what? B square. So that's what we have. So the first thing we do, we say our first term is so our first term there, a is equals to a. Coefficient of b of a is what? Minus 6b. So let me just say this is, let me just change this to alpha and what? Beta. And then our constant term is b squared to avoid confusion. So alpha and beta. So I'm just looking at it that our quadratic equation is alpha squared plus beta x, alpha x squared plus c is equals to 0. So this is our constant. So now we are going to do is we are going to multiply alpha by c. So that will give me 8 multiplied by b squared. That will give me 8b squared. So what are the factors of 8b squared that if I add it together it will give me 8b squared? If I multiply it, if I add it together, or factors of 8, just take the coefficient 8. What are the factors of 8 that if I add it together it will give me 8, and if I multiply it together it will give me 8, and if I add it together it will give me minus 6. So what are those factors? We are looking at minus 4 and minus 2, because if I should add minus 4 to minus 2 it will give me minus 6. If I multiply it to give me 8. So what we are going to add to it is a and b, because we are dealing with a and b here. So in place of minus 6ab, we are going to put in minus 4ab minus 2ab. So let's do that. So we are going to have 8a squared minus 2ab minus 4ab plus b squared. So we factorize. So if we do that, what is common between 8a squared and minus 2ab? What is common? What is common is 4a. So we have here 2a minus b. So what is common between 4ab and b squared? What is common is b. So we have 2a minus b. As you can see, what is here and what is here is the same. So we are correct. So our answer will pick one of it. So 2a minus b into 4a minus what? B. So that's our answer. So that is just the motivation for quadratic equation. So I want to go into another video in this section, and then that video is called quadratic equation. So I'm going to look at quadratic equation. That is, what we are just looking at have been expression, factorization of this by expression. So we're going to look at quadratic factorization, solution to quadratic equation using factorization method. So that is the main aim of this video. So let's go into it. So we say we are looking at factorization solutions, factorization method for finding the solution. You can call it the solution, or you can call it the root of quadratic equation. So yes, so I said a quadratic equation expression is an expression of this form. General form is x plus c. That is, every algebraic expression that the highest power of the variable is what? Is s squared. So this is an algebraic expression, but this is a quadratic expression, but this becomes a quadratic equation when this is equal to 0. So at the presence of the equality symbol, it becomes an equation. It's no longer an expression. So ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, the general form of a quadratic equation, where a, b, and c are constants, and a mustn't be equal to 0. So that is what we are looking at now. So let's look at how to find the solution to some of this kind of questions. So before I go before I move into this, I want to explain something before I start finding the solution. I'm going to solve two kinds of questions. Now, mind you, there are quadratic expressions. There are quadratic expressions that are of this form. We call it difference of two square. So I want to talk about it before I start solving quadratic equation proper using factorization method. So factorization of difference of two square. If I have a quadratic expression of ax minus 4, x square minus 1, y square minus 81, these are difference of quadratic expressions that are in the form of difference of two square, because this guy here is the same thing as saying a square minus 2x to the power 2, because 4 is the same thing as 2x to the power 2. This other expression is the same thing as x square minus 1x to the power 2. This other expression is the same thing as y square minus 9 raised to the power 2. So this is a difference of what? Two squares. So if we have things like this, how can we solve? How can we factorize? So the first one is a square what? Minus what? 4. If I want to factorize this guy, this is the same thing as saying a square minus 2 raised to the power 2, which is the same thing as saying a minus 2 raised to the power 2, which is equal to what? A minus 2 into a plus 2. If you do this, you have this. If we do a minus 2 bracket open, a minus 2, I'm going to have a multiplied by a, which is, let's say, a minus 2 into minus 2 into a minus 2. Distributivity. So a times a will give me a square. A times minus 2 will give me minus 2a. Minus 2 times a will give me minus 2a. Minus 2 multiplied by minus 2 will give me minus what? Minus 4. So this will give me, if this is factorize. What is common here? A. So what is common is a. So this will give me a minus 2. What is common here? Minus 2 is common. So this will give me, this is plus 2 minus 2. This is plus minus 2. This is plus. So what is common is minus 2. So this will give me a plus 2. So if I solve this, if I solve a into a minus 2 into a plus 2, this will give me a minus 2 into a plus 2. So that is it. So you can say that a square minus 2 squares equals to a minus 2 all square. And this is the same thing as saying a minus 2 and a plus 2. So that is the same thing for saying if I want to solve the other ones. So I will say this is the same thing. So if I have x square minus 1, this is the same thing as saying x square minus 1 square. And this is the same thing as saying x minus 1 all square. And this is equal to difference of 2 square. That's x plus 1 into x plus x minus 1. So either I say x plus 1 and x minus 1, or you can also say x minus 1 and x plus 1 is commutative. So they are actually the same thing. So let us solve two questions so that I can go back to what I wanted to teach. So let me solve two questions. So they say factorize 1 minus 3 36y square. If I want to factorize this solution, factorize 1 minus 36x square. If I want to factorize it, this is 1 minus what? 36y square. 1 minus 36y square. And this is equal to what? 1 minus 6 square. Because 36 is what? 6 square. Y what? Square. And this is the same thing as saying, this is also square. This is the same thing as saying 1 minus 6 what? Y all square. I've taught this in laws of indices. So this is 1 minus 6y square, and this is equal to a difference of 2 square. That will give me what? 1 minus 6y into what? 1 plus what? 6y. So that is the answer. For easy understanding, let me solve another one that looks a little bit cumbersome. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. This is the last one. So in case they say s, factorize 2u cube minus 72u into u plus v all square. So I want to solve something like this. I want to factorize this. This is very simple. First of all, I'm going to factor out this. I'm going to factor out the value there, that is 2u. I'm going to factor out 2u. So if I do that, I'm going to have 2u into u. I don't know if you get into it to give me u minus 36 into u plus v all square bracket close. I'm factoring out 2u from this expression. So if I factor, what is common there is 2u. So if I factor, I'm going to have u, that is 2u cubed divided by 2u. What will remain is u. Minus 72u into u plus v all square. What will remain is minus 36 into u plus v all square. So I continue from there. So I'm going to have 2u into u square minus, this is 6 square, remember, into u plus v all square. So I continue from there. This will give me 2u into u minus 6 into u plus v close into what? This is square. But this is actually the same thing as saying 2u into u minus 6u plus v all square. So if I expand this is the symbol we are looking at. So this will be u, 2u from here, minus 6u plus v into u plus what? 6 into u plus v bracket what? Close. So this is the answer. 2u into u minus 6u plus 6 into u plus 6u plus v. So this is the expression. So now, this is how to solve difference of 2 square. Difference of 2 square. So let's look at what we have been doing previously, what we wanted to do. So we're looking at factorization. We're looking at what? Factorization of factorization methods for solving quadratic equation. So quadratic equation using factorization method. So I've told you what the quadratic equation is. This is the general form where a, b, and c are constants. Constants, and then a is not equal to 0, because at the moment a becomes 0, it's no longer quadratic. This guy will go off, it will now be linear. So let's look at some examples. Let's look at some examples as fast as possible. So example number 1, I'm going to solve some of the questions we are already done. So I'm not going to change them to quadratic equation. So you say using factorization method, find the roots or solution to the following quadratic equations. I x squared plus 6x plus 5 is equal to 0. I'm going to solve just 2, and I 2y squared plus 13y plus 21. solution. I'm a little bit fast. I just want to try to make the video to be shorter. So let's look at the first one. The first one is x squared plus 6x plus what? 5 is equal to 0. So we're going to, it's just a simple thing. We're going to factorize the left hand side. So factorize the left hand side, very simple. We take what? Our a is what? Equal to 1, our b is equal to 6, and our c is equal to 5. So the next step is to multiply our a by our c, and that will give us 1 times 5, which is equal to 5. So we look at for the factors of 5 that when we add it together to give us 5, it's when we multiply together to give us 5, when we add together to give us 6. And that is what? That is 1 and 5. That is x and what? 5x. That is 1 and 5. But we attach x to it, it becomes x and what? 5x. So in place of 6x, we put in x and 5x. Just screw back to where we factorize this. That is the first question we solved. Where we factorize this, you see what we did. So that will give me x squared plus 5x plus x plus 5 is equal to 0. So let me take it here. So 5 squared plus what? 5x plus x plus what? 5 equals to 0. That is what we actually have. X squared plus 5x plus x plus 5 is equal to 0. So you can forward or back forward the video. So we group this guy, we group this guy. So what is common? X is common, so we have x plus 5 here. What is common? 1, so we have x plus 5, and that is equals to 0. So these are the same, we pick one of it, that is x plus 5, and then we take this guy and this guy, that is x plus 1 is equal to 0. So now this is the step. Now what you do at this step, you equate one of these to 0, equate this to 0, and you get two answers. So x plus 5 is equal to 0, or x plus 1 is equal to 0. If x plus 5 is equal to 0, that means x is equal to minus 5, or x is equal to minus 1. So this is the solution. So let's solve the next one. So the next one I put there was 2y squared plus 13y plus 21. All you just have to do, I've taught you how to factorize this kind of expression. Just factorize it. Once you get to the point, you just equate each of those terms to 0. So if I factorize this straight up, I'm going to have 2y plus, that is the 2y plus 13y squared. I'm solving solution plus 21. That's what we have, equal to 0. So a is equal to 2, b is equal to 13, and c is equal to 21. So we multiply a by c, that is a times c is equals to 2 times 21. That will give me 42. So what are the factors of 42 that when I add it together, it will give me 13. When I multiply it, it will give me 42. That is 6 and 7. So since we are working with y, we attach y to it. So in place of 13y, we put in what? 6y and 7y. So that will give me 2y plus, in place of 13y, we put in what? 6y plus what? 7y, then plus 21 is equal to 0. So we'll group this, and then we'll group this. So what is common between 2y and 6y? 2y and 6y. What is common? This is square. Sorry, this is square. That will give me 2y. 2y is common into y plus 3. Then here we have plus 7 into y plus 3. This equals to what? 0. So this term and this term are the same. We'll pick one of it. That is 2y plus 3 is then 2y plus 7 then is equal to 0. We have done this before. We have done this factorization before. So you just factorize when you get to this point. When you get to this point, you equate each of it to 0. So let me just do it here as fast as possible. So you can still rewind the video. You can rewind the video. So let's do that. So we have 2y plus 3 and then 2y plus 7 is equal to 0. I'm solving from here. So if I do that, I'm going to equate each term to 0. 2y plus 3 is equal to 0. Or we solve 2y plus 7 is equal to 0. So this will give me y is equals to 3 divided by 2 here, or y is equal to, this is minus 3 will come first, minus 3 over 2. This will give me minus 7 over 2. So it's either minus 3 over 2 or minus 7 over 2. So this comes to the end of this video. I'm going to place some examples for us to solve. So I'm going to be dropping the reason why I did this video. This is just a review of quadratic equations by factorization method. I want to teach us what is called exponential equations, solutions to exponential equations, and it will really lead us to quadratic equation during the process. And then we're going to be solving those quadratic equations using factorization method. So I thought I should give us a good understanding of factorization method before going into that. So this channel will be giving us videos every week. I'll be releasing videos in mathematics every week. So the only way you can encourage us is by subscribing to our channel. So hit the bell there, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to our channel. You can like, comment, also drop my number. You can send me message on WhatsApp with this number. So whenever you don't understand, you have a mathematics problem, you send me message on WhatsApp. I'm going to explain to you and then make you better in mathematics. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.